We are halfway through the year, and 2026 has already served up some great Souls-likes like Neo 3, Crimson Oath, or the criminally overlooked Stonemachia. Yet somehow there is still much more to come, with a chockload of Souls-likes set to be released over the next 12 months. From multi-million AAA projects to tiny indie darlings. Here's a look at some you won't want to miss. Dinoblade is the game on this list that's closest to release, and one of the zaniest ones too. As a great sword-wielding Spinosaurus, you'll be fighting your way through a prehistoric world in an attempt to prevent your own extinction. This one looks incredibly fun, and I can't wait to pick it up in a couple of days. The Relic First Guardian is another one you can get your hands on soon, as it's releasing in just a couple of weeks. The game doesn't look like anything special visually, but boasts a wealth of content with over 80 bosses, 12 skill trees and 70 unique runes that should help alleviate the tedium of yet another bleak fantasy world. Memoirium looks like a pixelated fever dream, a PS1 retro-inspired Souls-like, where you'll be alternating between your customizable bedroom and a host of weird dreamlike locations, from school classrooms to graveyards to melting wax castles. Another big budget Souls-like is Mortal Shell 2, releasing just next month. Developers Cold Symmetry have promised to expand on the original with more shells, more customization, and a much larger and connected world. As those were basically the three gripes I have with the first game, I'm very interested to see what the sequel can bring. I think Vapor World is the only 2D Souls-like on this list, which is astonishing when you consider the glut of Soulsvanias that have been released over the last few years. Its art style and animations remind me a lot of Vigil the Longest Night, with beautiful hand-drawn backgrounds and illustrated characters. If the combat's as good as the aesthetics, this could be another hit. It's out later this year with early access opening soon.
Takes its toll on everyone.
Valor Mortis, on the other hand, is a game I'm really looking forward to. Created by the same devs as Ghost Runner, it thrusts you into a plague-ridden Napoleonic era nightmare. As one of the Emperor's soldiers, you'll be using both saber and pistol to destroy a host of pus-riddled monstrosities as you search for a cure. The graphics and enemies look exceptional so far, with a tantalizing mix of challenging Souls-like combat and first-person gameplay.
Has taken hold here. Am I dreaming this hellish nightmare?
False Hero isn't much to look at, but it has an original idea that's really fun. You can steal your enemies' attacks and use them against them, or even chain multiple stolen abilities together into devastating combos. Decrepit fuses first-person Souls-like combat and roguelike progression. Every death sends you back to your cell at the bottom of the dungeon, stripping of your levels and equipment, but your shortcuts remain unlocked, allowing you to progress a little bit further on every run. Moonlight Shadows' simple graphics remind me of Ashen, though the environments look rather bare and uninteresting for the moment. Details are scarce as to the story and combat mechanics too, so this is one to follow from afar in the hopes we'll get some more tangible information soon. Lords of the Fallen 2 probably has the biggest budget of all the games on this list, and while it's not necessarily what I'm looking forward to the most, there's no denying its sleek cinematics and impressive graphics are not to be scoffed at. Once again, players will be able to switch between reality and the Umbral realm to help solve puzzles or defeat enemies, effectively doubling the size of its world. CI Games have just delayed the game to early 2027, so let's hope the final product is worth the extra wait.
Countless wars have been waged throughout history in pursuit of the elixir of immortality. A champion rises, destined to quell the chaos of this senseless cycle.
I'm an unashamed Tin Ninja fan, and although the first Wolong isn't among my favourites, I still really enjoyed its combat and morale system. The sequel looks like it's going to plunge us back into the War of the Three Kingdoms for more of the same, and I for one just can't wait when it releases early next year.
Awaken. Phoenix.
Drawing on games like Ashen for its ever-evolving village, and V Rising for its risk-based exploration, Anhedonia is hoping to entice fans of both genres when it releases in late 2027. So far, its bleak fantasy world looks rather generic, so I'm hoping it will have more than just base building to set it apart from the plethora of medieval souls-likes already out there.
Stopped working. There was only one place left to look.
Operating out of an abandoned military facility deep within these mountains. Reports show he's been running experiments on human test subjects and selling his products on the dark web.
TERRORSTORM bills itself as Souls-like combat in a Resident Evil-inspired universe. You play as a mercenary sent to rescue the daughter of a local government official from an underground crime ring. Focusing almost entirely on first-person gunplay, TERRORSTORM hopes to coax more traditional first-person horror fans over into the Souls genre. Divina Commedia is the sophomore effort from developers V.E.D.A Games after the sun-soaked Italian-inspired Souls-like in Ocho the Last Song. This time V.E.D.A is focusing on Dante's Divina Commedia and will have you aligning with one of the 7 deadly sins before fighting through procedurally generated levels. I was fairly lukewarm on their first game, but enjoyed the colourful environments and level designs, so I'll definitely be checking this one out when it releases in 2027.
Looks like she forgot about me. Don't like to be on my own when crying. Poor lady.
Dithered grabbed my attention with its unique aesthetic, flickering, crunchy lo-fi graphics that jitter and dance as your schoolgirl protagonist uses her improvised weapons to wallop rotting teddy bears and other manifestations of her nightmares. It'll be out early next year.
Another nightmare.
Now eat the blue one. Yes. Look how easy it is now.
OMG, are we going to wish list this one, Molly?
Blackblade Revenant is an indie Souls-like that expands on Mortal Shell's or Stone Machia's mechanics by allowing you to switch between multiple playable classes every time you die. The parry-focused combat, yin and yang combo system, and Far Eastern-inspired locations will hopefully help this one make its mark. Blood of the Lead Moon wears its Bloodborne inspiration clearly on its sleeve with its gunplay combat and gothic world. Animations and graphics look pretty rough so far, but if the combat and exploration are fun, this could be a great one for those looking to scratch that Bloodborne itch. There are several FPS Souls-likes on this list, and Guns of Eschaton hopes to distance itself from its competitor Valor Mortis by going all in on its Wild West atmosphere and the variety of its arsenal. The developers claim that not only the choice of each gun, but even the choice of each bullet will be important as you battle your way through hordes of demons.
But we will not despair. We will do it again and again.
In Crowned in Steel, the focus is on brutal combat and bloody dismemberment. The game looks like it's leaning hard into its male fantasy violence, so keep an eye on this one if you've always dreamt of being Conan the Barbarian. Halocline is the first game by developers Hellboar Studios and is bringing Souls-like combat to the murky depths of the abyss. You'll be using cutlasses, pikes, anchors and billhooks as you fight your way through giant sharks and Cthulhian monsters far beneath the surface. Unleash the Avatar seems to be a rather simple indie Souls-like, though the fact that its enemies and locations are based on ancient India could help it stand out from the dozens of dark fantasy worlds that have oversaturated the genre. Black Myth's Zhong needs no introduction, a spiritual successor to the well-received Black Myth Wukong, which for some reason I still haven't played. Players can expect more fast-paced, dodge-based combat with a focus on bosses over level design and exploration. Skelemental Monk's Fury is another game that bucks the dark fantasy trend with a stark, vibrant art style. The combat is martial arts based, and in a fun twist you can upgrade different parts of your skeleton to gain different stat bonuses. Project Rabbit is hoping to do for Alice in Wonderland what Lies of P did for Pinocchio, though instead of a traditional exploration experience, developers Novaflare are betting on the extraction genre with risk-based expeditions deep into the dark fantasy rabbit hole. V.E.D.A is a sci-fi roguelike souls-like that gave me serious The Surge vibes with its large industrial complex and huge robot enemies. I'm not a massive fan of the roguelike genre however, so it remains to be seen if there are enough meaningful upgrades unlocked in between runs to make diving into this one worthwhile. Bloodfang is somehow the second rabbit-based Souls-like on this list, which is not something I thought I'd be saying out loud. The simple, picturesque graphics didn't especially grab me, but its emotion-based combat sounds interesting, with different emotions such as rage, fear or sorrow fueling your attacks. Riven Crown looks like to be another Demon Souls clone with its medieval setting and colour-starved environments. If developers Intermeleaf don't want this one to get lost in the crowd, they'll need to flesh out their game with an original mechanic or two.
Listen, my child. Can you hear it? The sound of grievous sin.
Despite having mixed reviews on Steam, the first Codex Lost is pretty damn fun with a massive amount of content available and a host of customizable spells that can be combined and enhanced to fit a myriad of different playstyles. The sequel promises more of the same, with tighter controls and more open environments.
It tolls through fire and stone. It tolls for thee.
The time is nigh. What wilt thou do? The axe comes to fell the tree.
Another FPS Souls-like, Covenant, is clearly more melee focused, a sort of mix between Dark Messiah Elder Scrolls and the slower combat of a Souls-like. Developers Legion Studio promise several different stances that will not just impact your weapons but also how you traverse their dark fantasy world.
The man of renown. You to change it all. Remember me with favor for all I have done.
The world ended long ago. We just walk its bones.
Darkcraft is a weird one, claiming to be the first Souls-like MMORPG. It promises single or group-based exploration in a large, constantly evolving open world. I'm a bit skeptical developers Take-Top Entertainment will be able to pull off such an ambitious project, especially as how they'll be dealing with difficulty and leveling issues, but the game will be released as a free-to-play experience, so there's no real excuse to not at least give this one a try.
Nameless warriors die so that legends may live.
Vanran is another one that's fairly low on my list, dark fantasy Souls-like that has you battling your way through a bleak fantasy world, including enormous enemies and bosses that have to be scaled to be killed. V.E.A. Proxy is an incredibly fast-paced sci-fi Souls-like where the player can supposedly parry anything, from massive rampaging mechs to an actual nuclear bomb. As you can imagine, it's not a game that takes itself too seriously, but fans of big robots and over-the-top anime might want to add this one to their wishlist. Moulder is a cross between a Souls-like and Pikmin, where you command an army of maggots to take on enemies. Defeating bosses unlocks different maggot classes, and each type can be synergized with your melee weapons for even more munching mayhem.
Close your eyes and contemplate now the moon, as befits the soon-to-depart.
I pray that you are able, carrier of blood.
And finally, I'll close out with Duskbloods, From Software's upcoming Nintendo exclusive that we still know surprisingly little about. A primarily multiplayer-focused experience, much like Night Rain, players will be battling both normal enemies and each other with customizable vampire-like characters. Victory points are awarding during play sessions that can be used to unlock rewards and cosmetics over a variety of maps.
Moon tears will flow for one, and one alone.
So hey, did any of these upcoming games pique your interest? Let me know in the comments below, and if you're excited for an upcoming Souls-like that isn't in this video, please feel free to share that too, as I'm always on the lookout for more games to add to my ever-growing backlog. If the random YouTube algorithm brought you here, you might like to know that I'm slowly playing through every Souls-like I can get my hands on and ranking them on a tier list, with new short reviews and rankings releasing every Tuesday. So if you want to be part of that, either hit that subscribe button or head over to the playlist link in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.